All right, well, before we begin the mock interviews, I want to let you know that we are videotaping, and I have everyone's consent. This is going to just be so that after this is all done and over with, we will be able to assess what we did right, what we did wrong, and how we did it. Okay? So we're ready? Okay, we have a guest speaker today, Mr. Roger Osario. He's from High Tech Corporation, and he's going to be interviewing Nikita on the computer programming industry, correct? Do you have your resume? Okay, you're on.
Hello, nice to see you. It's pleasure to be here. Cool, well, I'm glad you're excited to be here. So I saw your resume. Actually, I have a copy right here, so don't worry about pulling yours out. I noticed that you have a lot of experience in coding, and you're still building it and getting ready to learn a few new languages. So what I want to do first is really focus on the type of environment that we have here. Are you familiar with, for example, what a typical startup company, like a startup tech company, culture, environment looks like?
Not really.
Okay, that's cool. So the startup environment is a lot different, for example, than a traditional corporation. So when you think of like IBM, GE, those types of companies are very big, a lot of bureaucracy. Startups are smaller, small teams, everyone wears a lot of hats. It's often a very informal environment. This is dress code most of the time, unless an investor is walking through, and then we might all get a little spiffier, not too much. But everyone is constantly working on projects. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Sometimes people show up at 10 or 11, but they're here until 10 or 11 at night. It just depends on what needs to get done at that point in time for a client, a new product we're working on. But it's also fun. You know, the group gets to know each other very well. They work together very closely. They go out a lot, but they work hard together. So it's that type of flexible yet demanding and challenging, fast-paced environment. So I just wanted to start off with that. So I'm going to roll into a few questions. I just want to see how familiar you are with the, or what kind of experiences you have that would, fit well in this type of environment. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to meet what was probably considered almost an unrealistic, unreasonable deadline?
I did, but I actually completed on time. I just focused on it, and I did as hard as I can.
Was it a school project or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay. What made it so hard to do in such a short time?
In fact, there was so much work and such a short time. We had only around 2 weeks to do it.
Okay.
But I just did my work, and I actually completed it. I got an A.
Okay, very cool. How big was the team? You said we.
3 people.
Okay, all right. And what was asked of you in that project?
Asked of us, we had to create a project. We had to create a model of a cell, and it was a pretty big project. We had to label everything, and
I would imagine you had other classes going on and all that. Okay, all right, very cool. I bring that up because deadlines are something that are incredibly hectic, crazy. Sometimes it feels incredibly unrealistic. You'll want to say that's impossible, but we find a way to get those things done. Okay, very cool. So it seems you also have experience working with small teams, so I'm going to bypass that right now. Another thing, how about developing prototypes? Have you ever had experience in developing prototypes of anything, even like your project, and then having to change it and having to scrap it completely, start from scratch, and come up with something new?
Usually I come up with just small ideas, like small projects that I can program, and I scrap them a lot, but usually I just go back and try and recreate them.
All right.
And a lot of times I usually learn new things along the way and manage to complete it.
Okay. Very cool. Oh no, I like that. That's actually incredibly important. We throw away more than we keep. So it's, and you can't get too connected and personal about it when we scrap something. We just got to move on and do what's right for the client and for the product. So, okay, very cool. Some technical questions. We just got to make sure that you are also comfortable with some of the language. So, are you familiar with VI, the editor program?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to list a command, and I just want you to tell me what that does. If you saw :% s /, apples/oranges/G. What does that ask?
It replaces all the occurrences of apples with orange in
Okay.
the file that you're editing.
Very cool. Let's see here. How would I undo that?
You just type U.
Okay, very cool. What is a command to enable line numbers in VI?
Colon and set number.
Okay, very cool. All right, those are just some of the basics that little ones we want to cover to make sure that you feel comfortable with that. Describe some of the tasks that you normally perform at a command line.
Usually I just navigate it using CD, which is change directory.
Mhm.
So I type CD in the directory.
Okay. What else?
LS to list what's in the directory I'm currently in.
Mhm.
LN to link files to
Mhm.
initializes.
Okay, and one more.
I use this not too often, PS AUX, just to list the processes
Ah, okay.
that are happening.
Very cool. All right, let's see. How familiar or how comfortable are you with Python at this point?
Not too comfortable, but I know just very little.
Okay.
I'm still learning it.
You're still learning it? Okay, all right, very cool. All right, so let me just wrap up with one last question. This is incredibly important. It has something to do with the whole prototype idea and how we rapid prototype, throw things away, move on to the next thing. How do you feel about failure?
Failure.
How do you deal with failure?
When I fail at something, I usually learn something from it.
Mhm.
And when I redo it, I learn more.
Okay.
So it's almost like a success because I'm learning new things along the way.
Mhm. Okay, what do you think the value, what's the most important value maybe to an entire team? Like personally, that's a great value for failure. How about to a team in a project, a specific project? How would that benefit the project?
Then the entire team knows what's wrong and what they should correct, and then they make those corrections.
Mhm.
And usually the product comes out better
Mhm.
than if they just did everything at once.
Okay.
Not failures.
Absolutely, I agree. And that's how we feel about it here. We fail a lot more than we succeed, and so it's just something that we've learned to become incredibly comfortable with. Well, that wraps up this first interview. We're gonna call you back for another one. We had to, just kind of screen you, make sure that you're comfortable in this type of environment, you have some of the basic skills. The follow-up interview will get more technical. There'll be a computer, you'll have to write some code on the spot, and there'll be some challenges. So, but thank you very much for coming out today. You did a great job,
It was a pleasure.
and we will see you soon.
Okay, everybody, snap for Nikita.
Jared. So, I've been looking over your test scores. You scored pretty high. And just want to let you know that for this job, you need to be able to work whenever we need you to, in case there's an emergency, whatever. So why do you want to work here?
Well, I always wanted to be an officer. I'm a person in the community. Like, I've seen officers wake up in the morning and help out the community. Like I've seen an officer, like he defused the situation when like there was this person who I wouldn't say he was a criminal, but like he had an argument with another person, and the officer defused the situation in such a good way to inspire people.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, personally, I'm a very nice guy. I'm very open. I'm hardworking. I come every day to work on time. I'm very punctual. Like, I really get a joy out of helping people.
Why are you leaving your current job?
Well, I like being a plumber, but I really always been interested in the field of criminal justice and helping people.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I would like to see myself as a detective.
So, what's your greatest flaws?
I think my greatest flaw would be me being very nice to people. I think people would take my niceness for weakness.
So, what salary are you looking for in this job?
Well, I'm not interested in the salary. I'm interested in the work.
That's good to know. Why should I hire you?
Well, I could be the greatest asset on your team. I can help you day by day in any situation that may occur.
What is your greatest failure and how did you learn from it?
Well, my greatest failure was I had a best friend, and I was so nice to my best friend that he betrayed me in a very clear way, and it showed me that I can be nice to people, but I should like watch my limits.
What were you most satisfied with your job?
Well, my satisfaction in the job is when I work. I'm very happy with it.
And what did you least like about your last job?
But I didn't like, I didn't dislike anything about the job. I just thought it was time to upgrade to
So you felt that you could,
Yeah,
do better?
Yeah.
Describe a time you didn't get along with a coworker. Like, how did you handle the situation?
Well, in the plumbing union, when I was working, we had, it was me and this other coworker, and we were supposed to install pipes, and we came to soldering it. And then when it came to the soldering, he rather played around instead of taking the job serious. And then I talked to him, and I told him that it's a workplace, and we should take this very serious.
So you were, just looking out for the safety of what motivates you?
Well, the thing that motivates me the most is helping people. Like, I really like to be helpful. Like, if anybody needs anything, they should know that they can come to me for help. I'll always be there.
How would your friends describe you as a person?
Well, personally, I think my friends would say I'm very nice and I'm open. I like to talk. And, I'm very cheerful. I always have a smile.
One more question. Could you describe what you see in this picture?
I see a person smiling.
Smiling. How would you describe your person?
I would say that they look like they're very happy in the situation they're in.
All right, well, thank you, Kev. We'll look over what the questions that you answered during the interview, and we'll call back. Thank you for coming.
Okay, everyone, snap, snap, for Kevin.
Nurse Ashley Ferreira.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
I am passionate about patient care. I am hardworking, loyal, and flexible with my time, especially when I have multiple patients.
Right. What do you know about the hospital?
During school, I heard about the amazing nurse faculty, and I know the hospital welcomes its patient with open arms and has good health care.
How well do you work under pressure?
Under pressure, I remain calm and alert of my patient's care. I update the patient's family every time I get an update myself.
Good. What do you know about nursing?
I have 5 years of experience as the head nursing department, leader in Bayonne Medical Center. I know how to perform a number of procedures.
Great.
So are you a team player?
I am a team player. I work well with others and by myself as well.
What is your greatest weakness?
My greatest weakness, I would say, is my stubbornness. I like to do things my own way just to get my work done.
Describe a time you worked with someone you did not get along with.
There was a time that a nurse and I had some conflict because we had different ways of communication. But after we sat down and spoke, we understood how we work together.
Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kian Wilson. I'm 17 years old, and I'm going to perform a monologue. I'm gonna read it off of my phone, if that's okay with you.
Kiki, can you stand up for the audience over here if you don't
Yeah,
mind?
sure.
Okay, great, thank you. That's perfect, right to the camera? That's perfect, wherever.
Oh, and I have a song after. Oh, it's a part of the song. I dropped her off that night. About 1:45. I should have asked her to come over. Or at least if something was wrong. But she seemed so normal and, I mean, not happy exactly. But like herself. We met in freshman year. In British literature. We made each other laugh. She was bitter. Cynical. But she was still really nice to me. We had fun together. You know? I didn't really make any sense of it. That night, we saw a play. And then a midnight movie. And I keep wondering if there was something. In the play? Or in the movie? Some sort of trigger, you know? Something that I might have missed. I just keep trying to look for those clues. I keep looking for answers. She survived so much. Why that night? Okay, and now my song. She was a happy girl, she had a happy soul, but they brought her down, she couldn't get up again, they thought her life was useless, we told her she had purpose, but they brought her down, she couldn't get up this time, and I said, hold on, pain ends, a little thing I like to call, a little thing I like to call hope. Hold on, pain ends, a little thing I like to call, a little thing I like to call hope.
Excellent. A snap for Kiki.
Wonderful.
Kiki, the judges are gonna have some basic interview questions for you. Girls, take your time, okay?
So before you go, we have a few questions to ask because we just want to know a little bit more about you. What inspired you to start singing and acting?
My brother, he did this program called Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ, and I saw him do his thing and stuff, and I saw a lot of good things, not like, oh, castings and stuff, but like in his personality wise. So a lot of his personality and a lot of realization came out of the program, and then I started practicing and I started learning from what he did, and I liked it. It was fun, and my whole aspect on performing really just changed.
And how long have you been acting and singing?
A year and a half.
Why did you choose this song?
I have a friend who has been bullied, and I never want something like that to ever happen. And I know a person who has had a best friend that has committed suicide, and I never want to be in that position for myself.
And is there anything you hope to get out of your career as a singer and actor?
I just want to be, I know that a lot of people in the industry don't really have a good mindset, as in they're just doing it for fame, or they just want their name out there. I want to make a difference in just the community itself.
At what age did you start performing?
virtually, like in the shower or whatever. But when I was little, I would always, like, my mom or my family would always tell me, like, oh, dance or whatever, or go sing me a song or something. And then I really started doing it seriously when I was 15. And then, like, I started getting booked for stuff at 16.
And acting didn't work out, what would be your other option?
Well, I'm really into art and painting. Like, I did a mural for my school too, actually. But other than that, like, I don't see anything other than art in my life. So if it wasn't performing, then I'd paint.
What are some of your strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths, probably I'm very coachable, as in, like, you tell me how you would want a certain part to be filled in my part, then I do it, like, just how you want it. And then my weakness would probably be, like, sometimes things can be misunderstood very easily with me, so you would have to explain a lot for me to understand it.
You were looking through your portfolio, and you seem like a very interesting person. Can you tell me more about your personality?
I'm very social, always talking to somebody. I'm good with making friends. I'm not really a person to keep things in. Like, if there's an issue that I feel like needs to be handled, I'll talk to you about it, but in a professional manner. Especially if it's business-wise, then I'll talk to you in a certain manner.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't really know, but I know that I would probably be more than what I am now, as in acting-wise. Because after about, I see myself already ahead of where I wanted to be in the first place. So now I'm just like, if it goes any farther in 5 years, then I'll be even more ahead than where I want to be.
Why did you choose the program?
I like the message behind the program, and I see something good in the program, and I wanted to be part of the nice.
What do you think? What do you think of this program?
It's awesome. Helping kids in performing arts is perfect.
I really strive super fast. Alright, well, thank you for your performance, and we'll contact you as soon as possible.
Okay, awesome. Bye.
Everyone, let's give